Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Government exists to protect us from each other. Where government has gone beyond its limits is in deciding to protect us from ourselves. The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things. There is no limit to the amount of good you can do if you don't care who gets the credit. As government expands, liberty contracts. Live simply, love generously, care deeply, speak kindly, leave the rest to God. A nation that cannot control its borders is not a nation. Heroes may not be braver than anyone else. They're just braver 5 minutes longer. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. America is too great to dream small dreams. Government is not the solution to our problems. Government is the problem. I have left orders to be awakened at any time in case of national emergency, even if I'm in a cabinet meeting. Status quo, is Latin for the mess we're in. I hope we once again have reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited. If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be one nation gone under. Within the covers of the Bible are the answers for all the problems men face. Republicans believe every day is the 4th of July, but the Democrats believe every day is April 15th. We don't have $1 trillion debt because we haven't taxed enough. We have $1 trillion debt because we spend too much. I know in my heart that man is good, that what is right will always eventually triumph, and there is purpose and worth to each and every life. Government's view of the economy could be summed up in a few short phrases. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. And if it stops moving, subsidize it. Some people spend an entire lifetime worrying if they made a difference in the world. But the Marines don't have that problem. It isn't so much that liberals are ignorant. It's just that they know so many things that aren't so. Politics is not a bad profession. If you succeed, there are many rewards. If you disgrace yourself, you can always write a book. Recession is when your neighbor loses his job. Depression is when you lose yours. And recovery is when Jimmy Carter loses his. The best view of government is seen on a rearview mirror as one is driving away from it. I've noticed that everyone who is for abortion has already been born. You can tell a lot about a fellow's character by his way of eating jelly beans. We must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It's time to restore American precept that each individual is accountable for his actions. All great change in America begins at the dinner table. The taxpayer, that's someone who works for the federal government but doesn't have to take the civil service examination. Welfare's purpose should be to eliminate, as far as possible, the need for its own existence. If we love our country, we should also love our countrymen. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. Trust, but verify. There are no constraints on the human mind, no walls around the human spirit, no barriers in our progress except those we ourselves erect. Freedom is the right to question and change the established way of doing things. Peace is not absence of conflict. It's the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. We will always remember. We will always be proud. We will always be prepared, so we will always be free. The ultimate determinant in the struggle now going on for the world will not be bombs and rockets, but a test of wills and ideas. Democracy is worth dying for because it's the most deeply honorable form of government ever devised by man. Above all, we must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. Entrepreneurs and their small enterprises are responsible for almost all the economic growth in the United States. The problem is not that people are taxed too little. The problem is that government spends too much. I've always believed that a lot of trouble in the world would disappear if we were talking to each other instead of about each other. Freedom prospers when religion is vibrant and the rule of law under God is acknowledged. Life is one grand, sweet song, so start the music. The greatest security for Israel is to create new Egypts. Information is the oxygen of the modern age. It seeps through the walls topped by barbed wire. It wafts across the electrified borders.